Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chris, and welcome to my New World Defenders channel. Now, what I want to talk about today, like you saw in the headline, is weather control and weather manipulation. Some of you actually believe that this is not possible. I'm going to prove to you that it's been around for a very long time. Now, one thing you have to realize about any kind of new technology, by the time that we get it, government's already had it between 30 and 50 years. I'll give you a prime example. Cell phones. Remember those big things in the 80s? Big box, had the wire, large antenna, things we use today? Now, do you ever see any World War II movies where they have that gigantic box that they're talking to somebody on? That was the first cell phone. So we got them around the 80s, mid 80s, early to mid 80s, but they've been around since the 40s. So, like I said before, by the time we get it as a mainstream device, the government's already had it for decades. Now, here's my proof about weather manipulation. If you go to the UN website, okay, that is un-documents.net, and I want you to type in the following resolution. You can even Google search it. It's actually probably going to be easier because it'll bring you directly to it. This is resolution 31/72. This is about the prohibition of the military or any other hostile use of environmental modification techniques. In other words, earthquakes, tornadoes, etc. This document was created by the UN December 10th, 1976. Read it. There are pages of articles state all things about weather manipulation. Weather control was an experiment excuse me, in the late 1800s. I forget the person's name, but he was basically trying to help farmers during drought season, trying to find a way to manipulate clouds to create rain so they wouldn't have droughts. And of course, like any excuse me, any wonderful invention, government wants to come along and try and turn it into a weapon. So they experimented with a lot of different things in the World War II time. Mind control, weather control, psychic abilities, things of that nature. For the people who doubt it, all you have to do is look it up. So my theory is, whether this is true or not, I don't know. I made a video a while ago that I got a lot of bad comments on, and I'm going to talk about it again today. That I feel that the Japanese tsunami was done purposely. It wasn't natural. Now, with the weather modification, you can not only create signals that you could shoot into the sky, but they found at different frequencies you can actually manipulate the Earth's core, creating earthquake kind of movements. Now, if you think about that tsunami we had, I believe in December of 2008, I could be wrong with the year, but remember that tsunami? That was a natural tsunami. Why? Because there was dispersed damage. Whole bunch of different countries. Now think of it like if you take a big boulder and you drop it into the ocean, or even just take a rock and throw it in a pool. What happens? There's a 360-degree ripple effect that goes out. Now look what happened with the Japanese earthquake / tsunami. There was no other country that had anything remotely near the damage that Japan had. And the 360 degrees that went towards the United States, towards Hawaii, basically damaged maybe a couple of docks and maybe a boat or two slamming into the docks. But other than that, no major devastation. Now, why do I say it could have been done potentially? There is a thing called the quarterly earnings report. Every quarter, the stock markets have to give their losses and gains for the people who are basically the buyers of the stocks. It's one of the few things that they actually mandatory have to do. So this way people know if you're buying a stock, you want to know if your company is worth investing in. So every quarter they have to give their quarterly reports. Tends to be within about a 1 to 2 week period after that quarter is done. Now, what does Japan have? They have cars and car parts, computers, computer parts, televisions, VCRs, a lot of electronic equipment. People throughout the world get these. Now, before the earthquake, we had the economy problem. A lot of businesses throughout the world were not stocking up on supplies. They were basically ordering them when they needed them. So when that earthquake happened, it ended up all those companies that did not have parts now could not get them. The last quarter report was in April. Now obviously that's too early because it was March 31st when this happened. So that quarter report just happens to have been too early for anybody to see anything. Now we go basically 3 months later. Now somewhere in the mid-July they're going to have those quarterly reports. And there is going to be a lot of losses for anybody that uses any Japanese parts that they couldn't get. This is going to dramatically affect the stock market. Now, if you've researched things about things like the Illuminati, the elites, and etc., they talk about, even if you listen to Lindsey Williams, he talks about how they are planning the purpose fall of the dollar, the euro, and all fiat currencies. Now that would make sense that one of the biggest distributors of a lot of electrical equipment be quote-unquote disrupted and cause the potential downfall of the dollar. Because of the quarterly reports, if you research it, the quarterly reports, they say that it's not uncommon for on a regular normal time when things are hunky-dory that you could see a 20% rise or decrease. Just imagine when they all these businesses throughout the world show their quarterly report based on the fact that they couldn't get their parts. They're going to show a lot of losses, which means precious metals are going to go up, dollar is going to go down, potentially collapsing into hyperinflation. Now whether that happens or not, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I can only go based on specific things. Now, one thing you could think about is all these different tornadoes that are happening, and they're saying all the time how it's just unnatural. All these storms. Now there's two things you can do. Blame it on HAARP, which is a weather manipulation program. Blame it on natural disasters. Just doesn't seem like that's it. Or the comet Elenin. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced. Now, does anybody really know if Elenin really exists? Has anybody seen it? Now there's speculations that I've seen videos talking about it, and they have this tracking system, but they're not showing an actual picture. So could they be thinking that they've seen it? My point with that is, it would be very convenient to say, well, these earthquakes are happening because of this comet, which they think might be a dwarf star. Now, I don't know. It could be both. It could be one of the other. It's hard to say, because unless you're floating around in space or you have a super telescope and you can actually see this comet, because at this point, it should be, if you have a powerful enough telescope, you should be able to see it. So from what I've been watching from the videos about this comet, you know, it's only 5 or 6 months away from getting to the closest point between the Earth and the Sun. That's not that far away if you're thinking about it from a telescopic point of view. So, I mean, I could be wrong. Has anybody seen a video where they actually show the comet? And if not, is it really there? Now, it could be, but I'm just trying. See, a lot of times when I make videos, I want people to think. So this way it opens their mind and it makes them more of an individual. So these are things. Now, of course, I have no part in it, so I don't know if any of this is true. This is basically entirely speculation. I could be 100% wrong, but you never know. So the first thing I want you guys to do is check out that article, the UN Resolution 31/72. It's posted on the website. You can just Google and write in UN Resolution 31/72, and you'll see it. And then go from there. But people need to understand that there are things out there that are beyond our capability of understanding. And again, by the time we see an invention, it's been in the government's hands for decades. So just imagine when we finally see it, what degree of technology they have right now. And that's a scary thought, because if they did an article in 1976 banning the use of weather manipulation, God knows how long they've had it before that and where it would be at this point. So you guys discuss this. Like I said, this is to make people think. Now, I have no idea if I'm right. I could be completely wrong. But I am taking what I feel would make sense with the patterns, especially if Lindsey Williams is talking about the elite and the Illuminati wanting to purposely collapse a dollar. That would be a good way to start it. Because one country nowadays can affect the whole world. This is a global economy at this point. We should all realize that. And that's why they want the euro to go first. And then within 2 weeks, Lindsey Williams would say that the dollar would be next. Now, can you take everything anybody says with a grain of salt? Who knows? I mean, he could be lying. He could have been tricked. He could be doing it for the wrong reasons. He might have been misinformed. They might have used him to tell him false information. Who knows? He could be a crackpot. Or he could be 100% correct. There's only one way to find out. But if you just sit around without checking things just to verify, and you just say, oh, well, that's crazy, it doesn't exist, it's not happening, where do you grow? So this video hopefully will open some eyes. I would love to hear your opinions about this. I am not wishing any badness on anybody. So if you don't agree with what I say, please just don't do the bashing stuff. Just make your point. Do it intelligently so we can all grow and learn from it. Give me your points of view. Give me your counterpoints of view. We don't want it to be a rank out fight. I'm just not going to do it. So please give your opinion. If you haven't subscribed before, please do. And guys, I'm waiting for some people. So far I have one person, Mateo311, who's going to start making some videos on my channel. And I see all these people that subscribed, and a lot of them have their own truther and spiritualist and all these different types of videos. I would love for you guys to join me, but so far no one's actually stepped forward and wanted to join the cause. So I'm a little, not disappointed, but I'm a little surprised that so far no one's really wanted to step up to the plate. So I hope somebody changes their mind. I mean, if it's that difficult to send me a video to show who you are, I mean, I'm not going to publicize it. I just want to make sure it's not some troll that's going to try and jeopardize this site. So hopefully some people want to make a stand, because I can't unite everyone by myself. I need your help. So if you make these videos, you don't have to shut down your own site. This is just an additional one to get everybody into one place. And so far I have one person that's going to be making videos. So hopefully you guys will change that. I would love to get this into something big, but like I said, I can't do it without you guys. So thank you for watching. I am getting my rear end to bed because I have to get up early tomorrow. So everybody have a good day, have a good night, and have a good game of catch. Peace.